Hey everybody, I'm here with Stacy and my cousin JT,
Hello?
Hi.
and we are just had.
Weird.
What's weird?
How it automatically knows it's me?
You already tagged in this video. You are tagged.
Yeah.
Why is asking me? Facebook, you dumb. um, we just had Thanksgiving dinner a long time ago, so now we're all just trying to stay awake and
Try not to.
trying to stay awake.
Oh.
To do this video because we're all really tired. Anyway, we had a good Thanksgiving, but I want to still do the verse of the day. So if you haven't read today's verse, read it right now to you. It's Psalm 100. Stacy's the Bible holder. Psalm 100, verse 4 is, enter his gates with thanksgiving, go into his courts with praise, give thanks to him and praise his name. So usually with these, if you've watched, you give me a high five?
No,
You're just praising his name?
Yeah.
Usually with these, I go like more in depth as to what the verse means, the context behind the verse. But today, I didn't. So we're just going to talk about what the verse means to us, or just give thanks. So I will let
Marches.
Stacy Ray start.
What?
Just what does the verse mean to you, or what are you
Oh.
thankful for? Or you can do both. When you read the verse, enter his gates with thanksgiving, go into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name.
Every time that I think of this verse, I always think of, for me, it always goes back to, but it might be because I'm old school and I was brought up in church, so I'm very traditional. But I always think of going into church, you know? Like,
Yeah,
You know,
the-
it's like
Sanctuary.
the sanctuary is going into the church. However, though,
Here we go. Come on, girl. Lay it on us.
with it saying, shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth, worship the Lord with gladness, is when I was little, when we would go to church, we literally would go into church with praise. So we would be like, when service would start, you can turn to JT a little bit, and JT knows this for a fact, they didn't allow you to go into service, like they had the doors closed. So everybody would congregate in the foyer and talk. You weren't allowed to talk inside.
Oh, you do remember telling me that.
In the
Like it was like when
sanctuary.
you talk before service, it was like, what are you doing? You can't do that. It's disrespectful. You have to...
It was disrespectful to talk
Yeah.
inside the sanctuary. And so the worship team would start playing in the sanctuary without us. The song that was going to be played, and so it would pump the people up in the foyer.
Yeah.
So when the doors would open and we would come in, they
Dun,
were
dun, dun, dun,
they
dun,
were
dun,
already
dun,
be
dun.
singing the song, and
That's awesome.
it was, I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed that a lot because it forced everybody in the foyer to talk and meet and greet because you were all there waiting
Yeah.
and, packed. It's like going before you go and seeing a game,
Yeah.
going to seeing a concert. When the doors open, you have that anticipation.
Yeah.
And so when we would come in, with
Sing.
with singing
Yeah,
and
praise.
praise and thanksgiving. And the thanksgiving was that when you would come together in the foyer and talk, you would talk about things you dealt with in the week.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, we had it, but it wasn't as predominant back then.
Yeah.
In the church that we attended, and then before that, there was no such thing as social media.
Yeah.
So that was your actual time to meet and talk to one another. And so you would tell each other like what you went through that
Yeah.
week. And it was, so when you would tell each other of the praises, you would go into the sanctuary with thanksgiving of, this is what happened to
Yeah.
me. And this
It was
is,
like a mini testimonial
yes,
time. So
during
it was
that
easy
time
to-
in the foyer.
Yeah.
So by the time you went into the sanctuary, it was like, you were pumped. You
Yeah.
were ready to, let's get this. I mean, I would walk in like,
Yeah.
and we're talking old school worship, so
Yeah. But Davey posted that meme of those the microphone covers that were red, yellow, green, and blue. It's like only the old school church members know this.
if you were on the worship team or like did like a special on the play and you got a microphone like that, you were legit. Like,
Yeah, because it was like bright orange, like really bright. So it was like
You knew.
You're the target. Yeah.
You knew that person is going to sing something
Yeah.
special. Yeah, that's what you knew. However, I didn't know that it was really just for the sound people.
Yeah, it was a
color-coded.
windscreen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. And then, if you had a wireless mic, it was like.
Oh, if you had a wireless mic, man, your church has good money.
No, I remember that.
Yeah, because we didn't have that for a very long time.
No, no
Wireless.
such thing.
No,
Yeah,
because our church, we were just starting.
yeah, all the chords all over the stage.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that's awesome. Like
Well,
what you
thank
said.
you.
She's so pretty and smart. She's pretty and smart. So take a lesson later. I'm joking. You can do it all.
You can have it. You can have all of it with Jesus.
All right, so JT. So again, either you can say, what does this verse mean to you? Or you can just tell us, yeah, I mean, at least, what does this verse mean to you, or a personal thing about this verse?
Well, I mean, just going off of what you said, I think it is something where you're basically preparing yourself to give thanks to God. And you're just going in with the mindset that it's not, this time that we're about to go in with God is not about us, but it's about being with God and about giving Him the attention and giving Him, the praise and thanking Him,
Yeah.
like she was saying, for the things that you may have experienced throughout the week, or, just making that acknowledgement that this time is dedicated to you and that we're going to put all of our focus on you. And I would be most thankful for being able to be brought up with the knowledge of God and the things He has for my life, and just being thankful for my family, of course, and just being able to come and spend time even with you guys and get to do this. I mean, this is kind of cool. I've never been on anything like this before, but I think that's what it is. I think it's just the acknowledgement of knowing that none of this happens without Him. So we got to take the time to really just give Him our full attention, and just let Him know, because that's what He created us for, was to worship Him, to give Him the praise. So it's and doing this, we're doing what we were created to do.
That's really good.
That is good. Yeah.
Come on now. So I will say, again, I didn't do like a commentary on this or nothing, but
You don't have to. You are living commentary. Come on.
But so when I've heard this, and even that song, I will enter His gates with thanksgiving, I will enter His
That's
courts
one of
with
those songs.
praise. I will lift. I don't know who sings that song, but enter His gates with thanksgiving, go into His courts
I
with
don't know
praise.
about
Now the Lord is good; He made us, and I think I see it as like what you were saying as far as entering a church Sunday morning, as an aspect of it. And then I read it though, and I think of like David. I don't know if he wrote this one, but if he did, that mindset of David, where it was, regardless of where he was going to enter into that place with praise and thanksgiving, unashamed, praise, because like says here, shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth. Like, so entering into His gates with thanksgiving, and I don't know, I mean, maybe it's metaphorical, or, maybe He is talking about in heaven, or He's talking about the temple, but, I mean, we are the temple of, He's changed, this veil's gone, the actual temple's gone, this world, we enter into the gates of, what this world, so as we live and as we breathe, we're living, amongst now with God. That veil is torn, there's no longer that separation, so as we live, we're living. So if I'm going to enter into this world, I'm going to enter into the things, I'm going to enter into the gates of this world, then I'm going to enter with thanksgiving, and
Sorry.
she's tired. Enter His courts with praise. So everything that I do, everything that I live, will be in an attitude of thanksgiving and praise to Him, and I'll give thanks and praise His name. And I just think that it's getting that mindset of a thankful and praise lifestyle, as opposed to I think it's just a reminder so that there's times in life that we just have to have a psalm of thanksgiving, a song, a prayer that's just consistently giving thanks. So there's so many that pop up, And as we live today's Thanksgiving, and we give thanks for what we have, and what we've been through, what we're going through, that we can live this and act this in our lives, and for the world to see. Like so every time we all get together with the family, it's always like a 2-hour devotional where we talk about what's going on in the church today, and then it builds into just just whatever God is doing, and it's just a 2-hour devotional we have.
Just let the Holy Spirit lead.
And we
usually
talked.
It's with the voice.
We talked today about we were talking about the problems of the world, and it was like, well, how do the problems of the world get changed? And it gets changed inside your house. So when you become right, when you start just living life at faith, when you walk out, people see that and say, I want that. And so when we live a life of thanksgiving and praise to God, they're like, how, like with everything going wrong in the world, I'm so depressed, I want to move to Canada because of what's going on in this world. I can't live in America because it's just so oppressive, which yes, I'm not saying those things are negated, but my hope isn't in the world. I don't look to the mountain. I look to the one who created the mountain. And so in that, God did so much and has done so much and is doing so much. I wish I had a longer arm so we can get all of us in.
Okay.
He's doing so much for us that I'm going to enter in Thanksgiving. I may not like everything that's going on, and like David, I'm going to work to make things better. But I'm always going to give thanks because the presence of God is here. Falling asleep. Like the Ark of the Covenant has come in. So like David, I'm going to rejoice. Well, God's presence is here now with us. There's no separation. So I'm going to give thanks and rejoice at all times and shout with joy to the Lord. So what I'm most thankful about is Stacey Ray.
Quiet.
I am.
Oh.
That's love. Yeah, I love you. Quiet. Honey. Okay.
You shut your face.
Yeah.
Hashtag I love you too.
Yeah. Hashtag Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, so I'm most thankful for Stacey Ray and my family. Thankful that, but yet I was thinking about it because we were talking, and you guys mentioned it a lot of times how privileged you were, even though you guys grew up in a small church that didn't have anything.
No.
But just how privileged you were that your grandfather started this church and he instilled it, and he didn't know. Like, he wasn't a Bible scholar.
No.
And your parents weren't all, like, none, they
None
all
of them
didn't go
went
to
to
Liberty
college.
University. They all didn't.
Not one.
But it was like,
Not one.
but how privileged you guys were to have such a family who had such a strong faith, where other people may have grown up in church or not in church, or outside of church, but they see you guys and they're like, I want that. And you guys in your own family are like, but we're all messed up. But they see y'all and they're like, yeah, maybe, I guess. But I see the joy emanating from y'all as a family. I see the devotion to God. And I come to y'all because I know if I need someone to pray with me, you guys know how to pray.
That's right.
So, do you want this tag too?
But even
think
though
he
our
thinks-
parents didn't have much and didn't have an education, because of their faith and their devotion to God, we had so much more.
Yeah. Yeah, you were overflowing with thanksgiving and
Yeah.
praise because it wasn't reliant upon what you had. It was relying on the joy, and then you guys grew as a family. I mean, at least I know this, you guys, we haven't seen JT. Well, we saw him just recently, but it's been a while since we had a chance to see JT, and it just picks up as JT. You're not on Facebook, right?
No.
No.
Are you on Instagram?
No.
No.
He is on Twitter.
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
He is on Marco Polo too, but sometimes like super
I
low
have to
key.
harass him.
Yeah. I don't think this is the real JT. I think he's an assumed identity. That's why he's off the grid. But you guys had so much joy as a family that you guys could get together without we have get-togethers, and we don't play. Not that there's anything wrong with playing family games, but we don't play family games for 2 hours.
That's
and
right.
just stuff. It literally is every family get-together is
Yeah.
us sitting around the table
And just talking.
for 5 hours, talking, laughing, crying, devotionals,
That's
arguing.
True. I never even thought about it.
And we
like
literally
that.
just, there's a new table, but there's a table over there. We literally just sit there. We sat there from 1:30 to 7:30, your
Yeah.
family left?
That's true.
It's like 6 hours just at the dinner table, talking and laughing and devoting stuff.
Because there's just even though that there so much has happened in our lives, there's just so much to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and
And
so-
even though, like you was saying, we didn't have a whole lot. Our parents didn't have a whole lot. I never felt like we went without either. Like I never
Yeah.
felt.
Never.
I never felt like I was underprivileged or anything like that. Like,
yeah,
I always had what I needed, and I was always happy.
Mm-hmm.
that's true. And
Yeah.
so it does definitely having that, you know,
Lots and lots of laughter.
yeah, and
Lots
it's
of laughter.
it's one thing to like just have, it's one thing to have positivity to try and change your mindset, but when you have true knowledge of Christ in Scripture,
An authentic joy.
yeah, it does change your mindset as
Yeah.
opposed to just making yourself like, read this positive quote that'll say, you can be happy. Did your mom just text?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to end this because I think everybody needs to go to bed now. So that's verse of today. Talk to you tomorrow. I don't know what that was, but that's our sign off. Okay, we'll see y'all later.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.